Guys, Pharrell said some weird shit.
I happened to be on Neighborhood Talk when I happened to see a clip featuring our brother Pharrell. And, well, he was talking about how he's not political. But then,
as we look at what's going on in the current political climate, I'm just saying I don't want to turn anybody off, but I hate politics. Like, despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side, because I think when you pick a side, you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just gotta say, like, think about it. The wells are drying up, and okay, now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask myself, okay, so how do we survive? Well, are there black people here tonight? Yeah. And in your heart, do you think, for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're black or because you're the best? Yes. Do you want someone to support your startup because you're black or because you're the best? Yes. Right, so I think now for me it's about us having the best ambition. That's the reason why you should support these businesses. Yes, they happen to be black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color. That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on, and if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I want to focus on being the best because I can bank on that, because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best.
What's up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashapp to CLBMG. Join the membership, and are you buying that merch? First thing first, me, TJ, and Fleers, we did a video a few days ago. It's called This, That. Check it out right here on my channel. It's from the What Project. Tap in on all streaming platforms. Let me know what you think. Gang, listen. I was supposed to do this story a few days ago, but I wanted to do a little more digging and research into it and get a few more. I needed more nuggets than just Pharrell said some weird shit, right? I needed some more nuggets and figure out why he said these things that he said. I didn't want to do a knee-jerk video because there's so much more involved with this situation that Pharrell went full-on substitute teacher and told the class some things that's different than what they've been learning their whole lives. I don't know why Pharrell said these things, but I had to get more context to understand who Pharrell is and why he would believe that just being the best is enough for a black entrepreneur in 2025. Now, what I learned over the course of the last 3 or 4 days is that Pharrell, let's be honest, Pharrell lives in kind of a bubble. Pharrell is a great producer. We're not going to take nothing from Pharrell musically. We've seen Pharrell over the last 20, maybe more years be one of the most elite producers in hip-hop. From the time him and Chad first became discovered as the Neptunes, right up until this new release with the Clips, Let God Sort Them Out, Pharrell has not been anything less than stellar, and I threw his hat in the ring for one of the greatest producers, top 5 of all times, which no one seems to acknowledge until we got this Let God Sort Them Out with the Clips. We had to start thinking of Pharrell in that vein as a Dr. Dre, as a Eric Sermon, right? These type of people, RZA, and so on and so forth, Premier, and this, that, and the third, right? So what we have now is a man who is extremely intelligent and very, very marketable when it comes to name recognition. He just did a Lego story of his life story, no less. Who can do that? Who can put their entire biography in a Lego movie? Pharrell did that, and it for a time it was good. It was accepted amongst a lot of people. People were able to sit down with their family and watch this show, right? I haven't completely finished it, but I did start it. Now, let me just say this. Pharrell, to me, when you peel back the layers and look at Pharrell is almost too rich. I think he's been too rich for too long. He was speaking at the 5th annual Black Ambition Demo Day. For those who don't know what happened, this is an event that he hosts, and I believe he produces this event along with others, right? It's they've done it 5 times where they bring in black entrepreneurs and have them demonstrate whatever they're trying to get to get across and get funded, right? There's $1 million, I could be wrong, but from what I've learned, that there's $1 million award on the table for the best demonstration of whatever the entrepreneurs are trying to provide as the subject or the invention or what have you for Pharrell and whoever else is on the judges panel to receive, right? Now, this is a I'm going to give a very simplistic take on a very, very complex issue. But what I've learned in my many years of life, almost everything that is complex can be broken down simplistically if you just want to get to the bottom core, right? Some things are very simple in nature, and we as humans make them complex. And what Pharrell is doing, I believe, like I said, this substitute teacher mentality. He wants everyone to get along. He don't want the kids to fight. He don't want the teachers to yell. He wants everyone to be nice and everyone to be calm. Treat everyone equally. Yes, even you, Johnny, even Freddie in the back who eats his own snot. Everyone to be treated equally. He doesn't want any type of separation or any type of dysfunction in the classroom. If we all just line up and we get our lunch boxes and we walk to the lunchroom in a single file line and we share our toys, everything will be great. We get on the carpet at story time. Everyone can learn together, right? He doesn't see any division because he himself is colorblind. Let's just be honest. I read somewhere that Pharrell sees music in color, right? He has some type of deficiency. They call it a deficiency that that Pharrell can only see music in colors, right? Which I believe may be his advantage. Let's just be honest. So what Pharrell decided to do at this Black Ambition demo day in Miami for 2025, I think he was feeling himself. And I think he may be tired of all the division in politics, right? And he decided to go on a unprovoked, like unsanctioned rant about he doesn't like politics. He doesn't do politics, right? He doesn't like it because all it is you're participating in division, right? This is according to Darrell. Heart was in the right place. Didn't come out right at all. But once you start to learn about Pharrell, you start to see that Pharrell, gang, I'm going to be as respectful as I can to Pharrell, but I got to keep it a buck. I don't know if you've ever seen a show called Fantasy Island, right? With Tattoo and Mr. Rourke, right? I think Pharrell low-key might be trying to sell you Fantasy Island right now. I think he's out there with Mr. Rourke and Tattoo. And I think that he thinks that the world can be solved if we just talk about shit like it's Fantasy Island.
And you always act like it's a miracle.
My dear Tattoo, when each guest is paying $50,000 for a 3-day stay on Fantasy Island, he or she deserves miracles.
Right, boss?
Well, Mr. Pharrell, this is not Fantasy Island, and DEI is a necessary evil, gang, because the simple fact of the matter, they wouldn't have created DEI if it didn't have a need. So what I've been seeing, and I told you last year, as a people, gang, I might be here for a while. I might wrap this up as soon as possible, but I might be here for a while, right? Get you some honey roasted peanuts, gang, right? Get you make some s'mores or something. I might be for a while. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But simple fact of the matter, I don't do a lot of politics on this show for one reason and one reason only. It is divisive, right? And we as a people, especially my people, black people, we can't agree on a lot of things lately because there are so many barriers in our way. And what I saw last year, and I told you this, beginning of this year, more so. And I told you, I do political videos here and there, right? I salute to the elders, the elder black people who send me emails. I love when they do that, saying I watch your content, and when you go into these black tirades and rants or whatever, please don't ever stop. And I promised them that I would not stop. I said I'm not going to do them all the time because this channel is not that. But what I do want to say with this situation, I am going to talk a little bit about it. But I didn't like the beginning of this year where a lot of black content creators I had a real problem when they tried to make it whereas DEI was no longer needed. When he who shall not be named, right? Your president decided to stomp out DEI with the Project 2025 initiative when they had a whole plan, gang. I told you it's an orchestrated effort to really cause chaos and dissension and to really, when you peel back the layers, kind of do some very heinous things to every race, but the race that they feel like should be running this place. Let's just be honest. I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking about that, but I am going to touch on it. What we have right here is a lot of misinformation and disinformation, and a lot of black content creators started to feed into the fact that, or it's a fact that DEI was co-opted by, let's be honest, a lot of Caucasian females and Asian females, this, that, and the third. A lot of black content creators started to say that we didn't need it anymore in good riddance. Well, what they weren't understanding is this is a coordinated effort to come after DEI and to come after a lot of things that are allocated for black people. Even though it was co-opted by others, it was essentially created for black people. It wasn't created for them. And what it was doing was to signal dog whistles that we are less than, because somehow, some way, without DEI and affirmative action and things of that nature, we wouldn't be able to succeed. We're not as smart. We're not as gifted. We don't work as hard. We're lazy. When in fact, those things were created for the complete opposite, that we were just as smart. We were not lazy. We worked just as hard. We just were not going to be given a chance just based off one fact and one fact alone. We were black, and our skin color was going to stop us from being able to have those opportunities. Doesn't matter how you take it. Doesn't matter how you flip it and bounce it in 2025. No matter what you think, no matter what you say, it has been proven statistically and otherwise that we were kept out of many spaces, and even the space that Pharrell himself has been allowed into over there where Virgil was at, right? In that fashion space, that fashion house that he's now ahead of, that fashion house was existed for 100 years. Never once had a black person in there until Virgil. And when Virgil passed away, if y'all don't know who Virgil is, he worked hand in hand with Kanye West, right, in a fashion house. I believe it's either Louis Vuitton, Gucci, one of those fashion houses. Well, Pharrell is in that space because of Virgil, and Virgil passed away, but they were getting some really good ideas and some really good traction from Virgil, right? So now Pharrell is in that same exact space because they wanted another black guy. That is literally a diversity hire. Pharrell is a diversity hire. So Pharrell is heading up this organization, the 5th annual. This is the 5th one they've done. On top of all that, the Black Ambition Demo Day, right? So you bringing all these black entrepreneurs in, and you stand up on the stage and you tell them you shouldn't be asking for the job because you're black. You should be asking for it because you're the best. Well, Pharrell, let me just start here. You're not getting the job because you're the best. There's an adage that has been going around for years where they're saying a black student has to do A+ work, where a white student could get away with C+ work and get the same job. This has been proven, Pharrell. So Pharrell, for you to get up on that stage and first say you don't even agree with politics, you don't want to talk about politics. Let's start there. Nobody wants to talk about politics. No one joins politics because they like it, gang. The simple fact of the matter is we pick a side because our political alliances are going to allow us to have food, to have health care, to have things, school, educational things that certain sides of the political landscape, they don't want you to have them for this, that, or the third. So the simple fact of the matter is that you're going to say, I don't like talking about politics. It's unpopular opinion. It's not popular opinion, but we don't like to be oppressed, right? We have people that's actively seeking to keep us redlined and oppressed and out of the best situations so that we don't succeed. Gang, this is the whole thing, right? There are actively people who think that we are a threat to their way of life. That is the crux of the whole argument of white supremacy. When you really peel back the layers, it is a fear that they're going to be taken over. Right? You see them, they got ICE now running and grabbing up all these immigrants. You know why? Because they're about to be the minority in this country. Right? You got all these laws against abortion. You know why? Because they're about to be the minority in this country. Right? If you really want to have this conversation for real, They don't want the Caucasian women having abortion. They want to stop them because we're about to take it over. They're trying to send as many back to the other countries as they can. They just made it where they can bring in, you can bring in the white South Africans and the Swedish immigrants, but you got to get rid of the Spanish ones and the black ones. Gang, you don't understand what's going on for real, but I'm here to tell you. I'm not going to be here all day on this, but I need you to understand what's going on. All right? Like I said, I don't talk about this often, but when I do, I try to say it where we can all understand what's happening. So what's happening, Pharrell, in case you don't know, the political thing, we don't ask for it. We have to be a part of it. Because once you stop voting and once you stop picking your political side, then they start making decisions. Then you wake up and your health care is gone. You wake up and your food stamps ain't coming, Pharrell. And for food stamps is for people that need them. And most of the people on the food stamps is white, Pharrell. But they started a lie that they're black. So at that point, they can dismiss it and say that everybody on the food stamps is black. Because they're lazy. Right? Now they're starting to call everybody who has a job anywhere a DEI hire, as if they don't deserve the jobs, for real. And a lot of black content creators were agreeing with that, for real. I didn't like it. I didn't like when I saw content creators going crazy talking about it's all white girls getting DEI. Well, gang, you got to understand, once them white girls going home, they're going to be fine. It's not about them. It's about the 300,000 black people that lost their job to DEI. That's not going to be fine, Pharrell. So, Pharrell, you're living on Fantasy Island with Tattoo, Pharrell. Okay, I told you I don't talk about this that much, but when I do, I like to get in there, right? Get in there. Yeah, get in there. I like to get in there, okay? So the simple fact of the matter is, Pharrell, you said you don't like the politics, and you said you don't want to be considered that you got the job because you black. Well, gang, consider this. They won't give you the job because you black. Did you think of that, Pharrell? So all them people you having in there ready to give their demo, they shined up, right? They got Vaseline on their face and their elbows and they looking good. Hair's braided up. They got oil and everything in their hair. They beautiful, right? They ready to go. Got beeswax in their dreads and they good. They got this shit together, Pharrell, and they ready to present you a demo. And you sit up there, and what it is this is what's really going on with this situation with Pharrell. And I'm gonna be honest, and I like Pharrell. This a teachable moment, right? Sometimes you gotta buy your friend a beer, sit him down. We're gonna sit down at this bar and talk for an hour, Pharrell, because sometimes I gotta sit guys down. Sometimes they get a little too close to money. They fly too close to the sun, and they forget what's going on out here, right? They took a lot of stuff from us, Pharrell. You beat the odds, Pharrell. Pharrell, a lot of our businesses, as soon as they started getting going, they look for a reason to burn them to the ground. We should be further ahead in this culture. We should be further ahead in this society, Pharrell. We fought a lot of wars. We were promised a lot of land that we didn't get. And the land that we did get, we went down and put paperwork in our name. They took it anyway, for real. You don't understand. They drove highways through our cities and towns that we were building. When we were building a generational wealth. And then they made us scatter. We end up in these ghettos and all this and that. And now they tell us we the most criminal. We do the most crime in the country. It's like when you cause a problem and then you create a problem, you cause the problem, and then you want to criticize the problem. Right? Imagine you didn't burn all those businesses that our banks and this, that, and the third that we were starting that take years. It's called generational wealth. I believe the wealth medium, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Somebody correct me. I believe we 200 years behind the average white person in the wealth medium. I could be wrong, gang. But I know it's something crazy like that. It'll take us 200 years of straight growth to catch up. And by then, they're still going. But Pharrell don't understand that. He's thinking, just be the best when you walk through the door and you get the job. Oh, is that what it is, Pharrell? That's what it is? That's why all these scholarship programs and all this stuff was do you know that college enrollment is down since they did this DEI shit? So Pharrell doesn't understand what's going on. They're trying to, they bullied the colleges to stop enrolling black people, which is what they wanted in the first place, Pharrell. They bullied the colleges to take away the DEI. Now you got less black people enrolling. So guess what that means? They're not going to get the opportunity to go to college, Pharrell. Now it's more black people without that type of degree or what have you. And guess where they're going to end up? Working at Walmart or hustling. Finding these telemarketing jobs. Just doing anything they can to survive. And you're going to get up there and make it like it's equal. Just bootstrap bullshit. This when a guy is around these guys that don't have his same self-interest at heart. They never struggle. They don't understand that. And you're around them way too long. You're just like Kanye right now. You're Kanye right now, my G. Just gonna be honest. We're gonna sit down and have a beer, right? Whatever kind of beer you want, right? Whatever kind of beer you want, I'm gonna drink it with you, right? You want Stella Artois, all that. We can have anything, but we can sit down and talk for real because what's going on now? You have reached a point where you're not in touch with us, right? You make really good music and this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, you're losing the plot. When you tell us you don't like politics, well, who does? And you think that they could just walk through any door anywhere and just be the best. Well, it's been proven that is not a strategy for success. Because you could be the best and they won't even look at you. Do you know that they won't even hire certain people with certain names on the resume? It's certain names on the resume they won't even bring you in for an interview. Because you have a quote-unquote ghetto name. Doesn't matter that you're the best. You're not going to get the opportunity. What DEI did was force them to give you the opportunity. Now what they want to do is make it like DEI is a bad thing. They've been doing it for the last year, 2 years. They've been going after everything DEI. They're trying to make it for real. I just don't know if you know. They're trying to make it where slavery was an opportunity for us. They're trying to make it that slavery was a good thing for real. They're changing everything we know to be bad. They've had a think tank. They've sat down and said, well, what do they think is bad? Slavery? Well, had to be something good about it. Yeah, it was. The motherfuckers was working. Oh, yep. Well, write that down. We're going to change the narrative. Now they're making it like slavery was a job opportunity. Slavery was one big job fair. Right? For real, you don't understand what's going on out here. For real, it's different. It's different than what you're talking. You can't get in front of these black, beautiful kids and tell them, just be the best. Don't do it because you're black. For real, you're doing a really great service over there. You're not trying to feed these kids some bullshit. Because they're going to go out into this world and be like, I'm the best at this. Oh, really? Doesn't matter. They're creating a narrative that you're the worst. They're creating a narrative that if it wasn't for DEI, you would be a broke, drunk bum somewhere because that's all you want to be. On Snap. Waiting for a welfare check. Now, we know that that's not what you are. But then I don't know if you looked around for real. They're painting a really clear narrative that they want to take the SNAP benefits because these MFers are lazy anyway. They ain't doing nothing to earn them. They don't want to work. And when we give them a chance, they're not good at it. The guy says, if I get on a plane and it's a black pilot, I get nervous. So for real, you're lining these people up to not understand what's going on in the world. They're lining it up to make it look like just by default, you're unequal. You're not qualified to be in any of these jobs, for real. Do you know that for real? I don't know if you know this. It's the other world, the world we live in. They're setting it up where just by him let me think of Rodanique, whatever name you want to call him, right? We're going to make up a name, Rodanique, right? When Rodanique walks through the door, they're already lining them up to say, no, thank you. So for real, your programs, the Black Ambition Demo Day in Miami, that's for these black entrepreneurs to have some hope. To understand that this shit ain't fair, but we're going to help you get where you need to be anyway in spite of that. And when you talk things like, I don't like politics, and you try to say, you're basically saying that the diversity, equity, and inclusion, which was created because there was a huge disparage in all of that. They don't create things for no reason. I don't know if y'all know this. They don't create things if it's not a need. They rather say no. So you know what kind of data and scientific stuff they had to present to people to say, okay, fuck it. We're going to put DEI. You know what it had to be presented? It had to be lock, stock, 100% irrefutable evidence that there is a disparage in hiring black people and people of minority, whatever you want to call it. They had to prove that without a shadow of a doubt for them to do this, for real. Now you got people who've taken years. They're rolling back everything. This guy Trump don't even want you to have health care, gang. You got to understand what's going on. Trump is rich. These guys are rich. They don't care. what we have and what we don't have. They'd rather have us destitute because we're not fighting for their jobs. We're fighting in the street. And then guess what's happening? When you fight in the street, you go to prison. These prisons are businesses, gang. I read somewhere that there's a town in America somewhere, maybe Pennsylvania, I don't know where, but the prisons are suing the states because they ain't getting enough prisoners that they were promised. The prisoners are commerce. They are products. They're not getting enough. The state isn't sending them enough prisoners as promised because they changed they lightened up some of the laws. So they're not sending niggas there as fast as they were. So now the state is getting sued by the prison system. Gang, you got to understand what's going on for real. It ain't fair. And for you to sit up on that stage and act like it is, you're doing a disservice. It's disrespectful and it's egregious. And it's weird. You're way out of touch with what's going on. We fighting for our lives out here. And anybody that say we ain't is sadly misinformed. Right? We're not physically pulling out weapons and this, that, and the third, but the mind is a weapon. And they're trying to weaponize all kind of laws to keep you down. And I hate when black people come, oh, it's always the man, like Maul, the Rory and Maul show, which is god awful, right? He goes and say, it's always these guys that the man is holding them back. Well, guess what, Maul? It ain't fair. It ain't fair. Right now, 2025 is getting worse. They're rewinding the clocks on you, my G. Just because you sit up on your podcast with your suspect host. Okay? Your suspect host with the suspect tweets, and you make it like we ain't under attack. We're under attack every single morning you wake up. So for real, don't get up here and try to tell these young, beautiful black people that they can just be the best. It don't work like that. It ain't Fantasy Island, right? I don't know what else to tell you. But at the end of the day, what Pharrell is doing, right? He's rubbing elbows with a lot of people that feel the same way. But when you change your circumstance, like Kanye say, wait till I get my money right. Well, what happened when he got his money right? He started hanging with a whole different class of people that don't have these troubles. They don't know where their dental's coming from, and they don't know where they're going to get, how they're going to pay for their blood test that they need. They don't know. And so the way that a country treats their poor tells you everything you need to know. And when a country refuses, gang, they waste so much money. They waste so much money, gang. I can promise you. They funnel the money to themselves, gang. They want to remove you from all these services, these human resources, so they can push it back to the guys in the 1%. Gang, they're wicked. They don't care. And Pharrell should know that, but he doesn't. So he's coming up here with this elitist attitude, this pull your boots up, this fucking bullshit. The phrase that they've been saying since before I was born, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That is a dog whistle. And Pharrell's coming in here with that bullshit mentality. Because it ain't fair, right? They ain't give you the boost they owed you. We went and fought and did a lot of shit for this country to be where it is. And they ain't give you what they owed. They took what was supposed to be for you, that your ancestor, your dad, your granddad or your great-granddad, he went under the assumption he was going to receive what they say, 40 acres and a mule, this, that, and the third. Whatever it is he was supposed to get, when he got home, none of them got it. And you know why they didn't get it? Because it was somebody in the background like this. You really going to give? You giving what the who? I don't think so. So if you understand this history, there's a lot going on for real, and it's still going on. For you to sit up here and tell these people, just be the best. Do you want it because you black? No, I don't want it because I'm black. I want it because I'm deserved. They ain't giving me my reparations, hundreds of years of free labor. That, let's be honest, this country wouldn't exist without it. If you understand what's going on, right? I don't claim to be the smartest, but I know some shit, okay? And the simple fact of the matter is, Pharrell, you're not engaged in this fight anymore. Fall back. Just come to the 5th annual the 6th annual one when you do it next year and you hand out the $1 million. First and foremost, you say, I'm goddamn sorry. To getting up in front of a room full of black people and telling them, don't get the job because you black. Right? And don't worry about politics, gang. It is the most asinine message you will ever hear in your life. It's ridiculous because they won't hire you because you black, right? And they damn sure will fire you because you black. So why can't you get the job because you black? And ain't nowhere else on earth they giving it to you because you black unless they forced to. So Pharrell, once again, and I'm going to leave it at this. This is not Fantasy Island. I don't see no tattoo. Okay? On that note, I'm out of here, man. CLBMG. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Also, me and TJ and Flares, we go live on the What Show every Wednesday night. 8 different social media platforms. 9:15. Tap in, get in the comments, all right? Also, yeah, we just dropped a new video. The What Project, this, that. Go tap in. Let me know. It's right on my YouTube channel. Listen, I'm out of here, man. Shit, are you buying the merch? Down below. I'm out. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end. And then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking. And all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here and we ain't the cheese, we the trap.